democracy, freedom. Freedom that many had longed for, prayed for, and many had even died for. South Africa was about to finally pave a way for Black South Africans especially to solidify their place in their own country 300 plus years later. Little did they know that the Constitution that was meant to make this excitement long-lasting, that was meant to protect them from ever being held captive and oppressed in their own country again, would soon be used as the very weapon to hold them hostage against our new age oppressors. One may ask, how did we get here? Well, in the year 1886, a place that nobody saw as a place of potential because the land was not fertile for farming, there was no harbor, and there simply was no life, suddenly came into life and became booming when a foreigner called George Harrison was credited for discovering gold in a city that would one day be later called Johannesburg, the city of gold. A city that today stands tall as the leading financial center of Africa and the economic powerhouse of South Africa. That discovery back then soon led to an invasion that was called the Gold Rush by many Europeans who came and wanted to milk this country for all its wealth. Sadly enough, the very same people who were the natives of this country were used as laborers. They were oppressed and driven to slavery to make the dream of those immigrants a reality, while not even getting a piece of that wealth. And until today, that wealth has been kept safe in the hands of those immigrants, even though the illusion of freedom now exists. Today, we have come full circle to the very same situation repeating itself once again. When immigrants are in this country, milking this country and our cities for all that it has, while pushing the natives to absolute slavery and oppression. But this time, what makes it even more difficult a fight is that it's oppression and an invasion by people who look like us. People we welcomed openly to share in the blood, sweat, and tears of those who sacrificed their lives for this freedom. A freedom we have barely even enjoyed, and already we're being told we don't deserve to enjoy it alone because other people who look like us deserve it too. We have been betrayed by our own kind who left their countries in a rot, who destroyed their cities and their countries, but refused to make even half the sacrifices that South Africans who died for this country made. And now, as the natives of this country, we are struggling for our healthcare, struggling for our schools, struggling for our jobs, struggling even for a space to walk, and maintaining cleanliness, and how can we forget struggling for our safety? We live in fear of criminals who wake up any day and run back to their countries and hide behind the system that has already labeled them as victims and you as a hateful xenophobe, because how dare you fight for what is rightfully yours when your neighbor is hungry? You then get questioned about why do you hate your fellow Black people so much? Yet nobody questions why Igbos don't get along with Yorubis, why Ndebeles don't get along with Shonas, why Ethiopians don't get along with Somalians. Every one of these nations don't preach unity in their own countries, so they can work together and actually fight the systems that oppress them in their own countries and those systems that allow dictatorships in Africa. Yet in South Africa, our skin color must miraculously just unite us. Little me would have never ever imagined that someone who's Black like me, Herman, would one day make me feel like a stranger who's unsafe in their own country, and I would be to blame for it. When I was 13 years old, I moved to Johannesburg for the very first time. A move that was so scary for me, but a move that made me believe that my dreams will one day become a reality, much like how those European immigrants, because this city used to be the city of endless possibilities. Oh, Johannesburg, the city that was once a hub of so many dreams for so many South Africans has now become a city that is barely recognizable. Crime, hijacked buildings, overcrowding, poor morals, bad behavior, drug lords, hardcore criminals run this city, all while ordinary citizens walk around with only one thing in mind, and that is just getting by and not to dream anymore, not to watch their dreams become a reality, but living day by day. The dreams are now reserved only for a few. This is now a city where the underworld is slowly resurfacing to show us who is really in charge of this country. A city where criminals wear suits and know each other by name. A city where some of the biggest criminals have blue lights and VIP protection. They are given platforms to plant false hope in our people, while they have no ambitions at all to bring about change. Well, at least not change for the ordinary South Africans, but change for themselves and their little circles of Louis Vuittons and Gucci's. A city that criminals around the world realize now is a city of gold for crime. Our duty as patriotic South Africans is to give our new mayoral candidates all the supports that they need. Thomas Jefferson once said, "When government fears the people, there is liberty. But when the people fear the government, there is a tyranny." And I'm urging all patriotic South Africans to remove the fear now and put on your boots to ensure that we never reach a point where criminals take over our country disguising themselves as government. We have lost a patriot this year, DJ Warris. May his soul rest in peace. The loss of his life must never be in vain. He died fighting for this country, and we will never forget the sacrifice he made for this country. And justice must be served, and it starts with you voting for the right leaders. Today, I stand here as a desperate patriot, asking to join this wonderful celebration of a leader that I believe can bring Johannesburg back to its former glory. And I know for a fact that this leader will, in essence, put South Africans first, not just with words, but with actions. Time for talking is over now. So in closing, I will leave with a Bible verse from Matthew 20, verse 26. Whoever wants to be a leader amongst you must be a servant. To the new mayoral candidates of ActionSA and hopefully the new mayor of Johannesburg, remember that your duty is always to serve, not just to lead. So serve the people of South Africa with grace, humility, and honesty. I thank you.